Fakeness is stopping your flow state. Watch this video to find out how.
Yeah. I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, how's it going? My name is Sumedh Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state catalyst, a coach. I help you feel better and perform better. In this video today, I'm talking about how fakeness actually breaks you out of the flow state. You see, we all have a core, true beingness, a genuine self, a true self. When we're acting out of accordance to our true self, we start to create more tension. I'm not talking about the idea of fake it till you make it, because I believe that fake it till you make it is an interesting model. However, I've transmuted that myself through my book TPM and a lot of other things towards act it till you fact it. There's nothing fake about wanting to be different. There's nothing fake about trying to transform your life and be a better version of you. You see what I'm saying? The fakeness comes from you seeking something that is outside of you. It is anchoring your happiness on somebody else. And you know, I was watching this documentary today called Fake Famous, and they did this experiment. They wanted to make people influencers by buying all these bots and, you know, likes and comments for them and seeing if people actually respond to it. Two of them, their sense of authenticity backlashed against them. One woman, she still continued, but after a certain amount of points, she also thought, no, I don't like being inauthentic anymore. Okay? This is all curated. This is not me. If you actually look back at my old Instagram account called That Splash Life, at a certain point I was buying followers, and I wasn't buying followers from the sense of just like buying them. I actually hired a social media agency to help me right at that point of time. And it wasn't moments later where I started to recognize there's something fishy about this, because all of the comments seem very weird, very strange. You know what I mean? So it would be like a video of me, and the comment would be like, oh, the lighting is so perfect in this picture. And I'd be like, what? What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, there'd be a incongruency between the comments and what I posted. And it would just be like generic comments like, well done, beautiful, you know, heart eyes and all this kind of stuff. I started to recognize after a while, like, look, these guys are buying bots. And this was like a top Instagram account, right? They were like a motivational page that I thought was really incredible content, things like this. So I hired them for a little while thinking that I would get those results, right? Because they clearly, I thought that they were genuine. Now, after a while with working with them, I started to notice that they're generating all these fake followers, and after a while, I completely just stopped posting on that account. I just kind of had this thing inside of me that was eating me alive, and I was like, man, I'm not making content that I actually like, you know? Sure, there's some of my quotes, there's some generic quotes in there as well thrown in, but it wasn't really hitting that level. There was an incongruency. There wasn't an alignment. There wasn't an alignment with my content. And this is what is so important. You got to have an alignment if you want to be in flow state. You want your heart, mind, your gut, your balls, or your ovaries to be synced up. And when you're communicating, you want to have this channel open for you and not, you know, stuck or stagnant, or, you know, have all of these internal blocks inside of you. And when you're being fake, when you're lying to people, you're not only lying to them, you're lying to yourself. That's the biggest lie. You see, yourself already knows that you're playing this character online, or you're curating all of this kind of stuff to make sure that people like you. And hey, if being an influencer is your job, you know, go get your bag. I'm not hating on that. I mean, sure, pretend you're in the Maldives when you're actually somewhere else. I mean, go for it. I mean, who am I to say that? I'm not there to stop you from you getting your money and getting all these sponsorships and things like this. You know what I'm saying? But there is, after a certain point, you'll start to notice that, man, I don't know, there's something about this that I don't like. There is an internal conflict that's going to be there with your authentic, pure, truest self and the version that you portray yourself online. Okay? And hey, a lot of people know that I've been bridging that gap over the years, over many years actually. Like, you know, it's taken me some time to actually recognize that, okay, there are certain aspects of my personality that, sure, that I don't want to share with the entire world. However, at the same time, my clients know that I'm very open, very genuine. I'll talk about my issues. I'll talk about my problems with them. You know, I'm very open to that sense of like, hey, I'm not scared of that. Like, I'm not scared to open up and talk about my whole life and my whole process like this, And after a certain point, this fakeness will eat you up inside. And this is what I'm talking about, guys, is that you can't be fake and at the same time try to get into an organic flow state. Because flow state is very organic if you think about it. It doesn't have additives or preservatives of all these chemicals and extra engineered stuff into it. It's simply you being at your core most best self and just expressing your purity from your heart, your mind, your gut, and your sexual organs. That's what it is. And sure, I'm sure some of you can take mind-altering drugs to get into the flow state. You can do all of these, extraneous things to try and access that state. But are you going to stay there? Are you going to stay there? No, because a big part of that process of you, going on this hero's journey is the integration phase, is the recovery phase of the flow cycle, where you come back and you reflect and you start to actually learn the different things that you have learned. Like, let's say you go to a seminar tomorrow. The next week, I'm sure you won't be feeling as pumped up as in that seminar. Why is that? Well, it's because there was a certain energy coming off of that environment, right? Certain people, certain vibes, certain uplifting tempo. There was a conformity. There was a pumping up of your state. Now, we also need to generate this state within us. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. You can pump your state in any moment. We're always a moment away from momentum, right? You want to stop being a social hacker and be a social master, right? You want to stop being a social hacker and instead be a social master. To be a social master, you're going to stop having to depend on like, oh, I don't feel good right now, or oh man, I'm not in state yet. If you really work hard at this, you will practice keeping your best self, your character alive, and you won't actually break out of character because there's just one character, right? So just because you're mean one moment, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person, right? It just means that you were mean in that moment. And that there's this overarching theme of authentic communication that's coming from you. And you're not speaking internally, you're speaking out into the world, so you affect people with your communication. I notice a lot of people, they're just trying to make things happen. You actually take away your social cues when you're trying to do that. You're trying to get so much to the end result that it takes away from your beingness and your presence. You start getting distracted, right? Like an attractive person walks by, a very affluent person walks by, and you go, huh? Oh, wow, look at that Lambo. And you just stop everything. You stop everything and your attention goes there. It has this ability to take our attention there because it's survival, right? Finances are survival, beauty is survival. You want your offspring to, have these health indicators. Beauty is also fragmented, right? Beauty is also constructed by us. It's modulated by us. I got this video the other day, and it was showing that the owner of Lamborghini actually used to maintain tractors, right? And he went to Ferrari and said, yo, I can improve the Ferrari. And Ferrari rejected him and said, no, we don't want you to mess with our product, go away. So he went ahead and he created Lamborghini, right? So that's the story of Lambo. Now, what if the creator of Lamborghini, that was his name, what if he went ahead and he just became an employee of Ferrari? We would never have the Lamborghini. You see what I'm saying? So the thing about it is you have to stick to your lane, stick to your strengths, and be just good at that, right? Don't be a freaking hyena trying to be a walrus. It just doesn't work. It's not going to work with your lane, with your craft, with your skill set, where you are at your life, with your circumstances. Just stick to what you're good at and amplify, accelerate. Keep moving with that energy, that real energy. Because you might buy a new product or a gadget and you might feel great. Like I got this phone a while back. I was like, oh, this is great. I have a new iPhone now. And then after a while, it's just like another phone. And I just started using it, right? It loses its magic dust after a while. But what is true and what I stuck with is the fact that this phone is going to make me create more high definition content for you guys. So I wasn't focused on me getting a phone. I was focused on the value that I was adding. So when you focus on the value added rather than the value leaching, you start to become a very attractive person. After that point, your flow state starts becoming exponential, baby. Upward spiral gang, let's get it today. Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Let's get it today. Boom.